I want to welcome you to the Ask Jeff YouTube channel. Here's today's question. What are your top 5 to 10 verses that you would recommend for the purpose of comparing different Bible translations? Wow, that is like a really loaded question in a brief amount of time. So allow me just to throw out a smattering of verses. If you're interested in comparing the respective versions, we could get into all the text and all that kind of stuff. But the question is, what are 5 or 10 that I could just look at? Well, let me encourage you to begin in 1 John chapter 5, verse 7. Once you go there, you might want to try Matthew chapter 18, verse 11. Then maybe Mark chapter 9, verse 44 and 46. Then probably make your way over into the book of Acts, verse 4, verse 27. Then maybe Colossians chapter 1, verse 20. By the time you've hit all those verses, you'll discover that in 1 John 5, 7, there's a specific version that has the entire verse, while other versions only have a very small piece of it. In Matthew chapter 18, 11, Mark 9, 44, 46, there's an absence of the verse. Acts chapter 4, verse 27, you have Jesus in one version being called a son, in other versions being called a servant. Big difference. John chapter 1, verse 18, again, this difference between son and God difference there. There's a host of these verses. In fact, technically, in the New Testament, there are between 11 and 17 what we call critical verses that are either absent or dramatically changed. But I mentioned Colossians 1, verse 20, where it talks about the difference in Jesus's cross. In one version, it says his cross. Other versions say the cross. Well, there was a big difference in Jesus's cross and every other cross. So it's a very possessiveness that I think is important. And really, there are questions about entirety of verses or the changing of verses. But really, when you get down to it, it's one word here and one word there that can make the most difference. And I'm reminded that in Matthew chapter 5, verse 18, Jesus said, heaven and earth will pass away, but not one jot or tittle, not one mark of the word of God would ever go away. That's why in Psalm 119, verse 89, it says, forever, thou Lord, your word is settled in heaven. A lot of times we say, well, that verse is missing, but the idea, the doctrine is still there. Well, but Jesus said one jot or tittle. He had a standard that maybe we'd abide by. Great question. If you have one, send to askjeff.net. Maybe your question will be tomorrow's. Thanks for being a part of today's daily question. Now, we answer a question each and every day. Please feel free to submit a new question at askjeff.net. We may not have gotten to yours today, but we eventually will continue to be a part of this. Subscribe so you don't miss out on a question every day.